Well, let's go to Chris Course for the My Bill for this evening. And before I turn it over to Chris, I want to run the sponsorship video for Dan Darty's company, who sponsors this part of our program.
Welcome to the world of scale, O&S railroading. We are your resource for all O&S scale modeling. Both our magazines are advertiser supported and free to read online, download as a PDF, or even print. All advertisers are hot linked to their website, so if you see something you like, just click. Please check out our websites for the current issues. All back issues available free for the O-Scale Resource and the S-Scale Resource magazines. And, if you are a manufacturer, distributor, or retail establishment, please contact us through our website for advertising opportunities.
Well, thank you so much, Pat. I appreciate you running the video for us. And now turn it over to Chris for the My Bill for this evening. Chris, welcome.
Thanks, Jim. All right, we will start tonight, actually where we left off last week, or last month rather, with Rich Wolfanger. Rich said he was having problems with his camera. Are you up, Rich?
I'm here.
All right, cool. All right, so we'll start out with you. And it's all yours.
Okay, this was up before, and I never got to explain what it was. And this will clarify. You guys saw this before and never saw it. So the building on the right is the model that I made a copy of, only because I always enjoyed that. And that was a kit that was out by Stony Creek Designs, Roger Malachowski, who has also passed away. But on the Railroad Line Forum in 2015, at the end of the year, I started this project, and it took me about a month to make my model. The model kit was always O-scale, and I just fell in love with its design, and I wanted one in HO. So you can show the next picture, please. Okay, this was step-by-step on the Railroad Line forums, but I didn't start it until this point on there. And so I had most of this constructed when I put this picture up. I do like to make full rafters on all my models. It gives it a lot of stability. And this was the first building that I ever did that was multi-roof design. And I did this for myself as a challenge, because I always like the multi-roof buildings that are either kits or scratch builds. And to force myself to challenge to do this was a feat in myself. But that roofing on there that's painted rusty red color is a 1/32 thick plywood. I found it at Michael's, but for a 6-inch by 12-inch piece, they want $20 for that. And I think it's expensive. But after this model was made, in my future models, I decided to no longer purchase such a expensive wood. There's many other things that can be used. So you live and learn. That picture on the left shows 2 stone walls that I put the peaks in. I had a long rectangular piece, and I wet down my plaster and used my X-Acto knife to cut those door and window openings. And the round one was difficult to do, but I did it without breaking the wall. when I made the framework above those stone pieces that you see there, I put in some windows and doors that were fine scale miniatures, metal ones. But after I decided to finish my build, I made wooden doors that matched the ones that I put there. I don't like the metal ones really because it's hard to paint those up to get the metal to look like wood. So that's why I construct my own. You can go to the next pic. Sorry about that picture. That's just a messy work desk. Okay, I put cedar shingles on that, and I got those from Sierra Scale Models. This just shows how I did the part where I have the cross piece that was on there that showed those rafters. This is how I place those. I just do them randomly one at a time and try to get it at least about a 1.5 foot reveal when I put those on from layer to layer to row. And I have to cut all those up with the scissors. Scale pieces about 18 inches long. And so I glue them on. And I'm sure you guys have done this before with either paper or wood yourselves. You can go to the next picture. Okay, this is I made all removable roofs for the structure on the left. The structure on the right is that portico dock or whatever you want to call it with a roof on there, and that's glued on there. The section next to the track is not weathered with any stains or powders yet. And I did put interior lights in that, and there's interior furniture in there as well. But I wanted to show this picture because that on the bottom where you see that porch with no roof, I left it that way. And the building that's attached to the end of the main structure is also hydrocal on two sides and wood on the other. You can go to the next one. And this was my finished project. That stairs is a little difficult to do, but I get through those pretty well. And that dock is there, and it has I use Monster Model Works 1/4-inch pieces that they sell for the supports under that dock. I just like the way they look when they're weathered. Overall, it was a pretty decent build for me, and I was surprised that it turned out so well. I'd only been modeling 3 years at this point. Doing
Really,
scratch builds.
That's interesting looking, it really is.
I wish I had a layout to put these all on, but I don't. I don't have the space right now. But
Yeah.
what I'm thinking of doing is doing a shelf layout, and I don't even care if it doesn't have track on it, as long as I have some hills with various levels that I can place my buildings on, so at least I get to view them rather than have them sit all over a shelf.
Yeah,
And there, I think there's one more photo. That's the other side of that. Sorry for the fuzzy pictures, but I took those with my cell phone. That's hand laid track there.
Wow, that's very neat, very neatly done.
That rock at the end there, I picked it out of the driveway. It looked like pretty cool to use it for a, what do you call those?
Bumper.
Yeah.
All right, I think we do have more pictures for you. The ones you sent in the other day. So we'll go to those.
That was an amazing feat too. This was a model by one of the major manufacturers. You guys have probably seen this before, but I've always wanted this engine house, so I decided to start scratch building this. Now, what you see here is the result of 30 days from start to finish. The roof trusses in this are about 8 inches long. I have no trouble making those because when I was a kid, I was in my early 20s and I was working at a place that made roof trusses in real life. So these are easy to me to do in real scale. That little portico at the end on the right, lower bottom, is HO scale corrugated metal roofing. I have a hard time painting that stuff, but also it gets pretty sharp at the edges if you go to cut those with it. I use the scissors instead of X-Acto on those because it always rips them up. You can go to the next picture. That's where I've started to add the purlins to accept I put seam steel roofing on that. In fact, I just did the roofing today. I didn't show you a picture of that yet, but this is still under construction. There's a lot that I have to add to this, more details, and I want to, that building on the left where it has the shingles over a gray roof is the machine shop, and it has a lathe and a drill press in there, but I want to add a steam engine and a boiler for power. So I'll have to install the pulley line and include all the belts. And that's going to be a booger to do too, because those machines are kind of small. To try
Is
to
that
cut
a slate roof?
No, it's plastic, but I painted it to look like it was slate or wood, but it's not.
Yeah, it looks like it's individual hand laid.
I think it's resin, but I'm not sure. But it looked that way underneath. That might have come out of an original kit. I don't know, but because I got some kit pieces from a miler who tore his layout apart, so he might have thrown those in the box, but I thought they looked pretty unique, so I thought I could use them on this little structure.
Cool.
And that's just looking into that from the other side. I scratch built that crane that you see there to get the gears for those. They're about the size of a dime. I went to Joanne Fabrics. I don't know if you guys have those in your area, but they have like a bin of little gears and little packages that you can purchase, and I thought they'd be just the nuts for that crane, so I put 3 on there, and then I glued my chain to it and added the pulley, and then I put a ladder up the side so the guy can get up there and do his maintenance on it. Oh, another thing is these windows I put in here were Grantline windows. And after I got them in there with all the window glass in them, I decided to change the color of them. That's crazy. You got to have a pretty steady hand to paint with a small paintbrush to paint those mullions without getting it on the glass. The next time I think I'll choose my color and stick with it.
Yeah, exactly.
But I got through those okay.
Yeah. Oh, nice stonework on this one.
Yeah. Hydrocale and pick it with a dental pick.
Yep.
That box that you see there on the little platform with the boards in disarray. When I took these pictures, I had that sitting there. I was thinking about making that into a boxcar, but I forgot to remove it when I took the pictures, so I just left it. Looks like somebody just built a new. What that is it's a narrow gauge sand car. I was going to build it, scratch build it, because it's smaller than the HL scale one. So it kind of looks like a box that either somebody's got to make a new one or they tore them off that one. You can go to the next. That shows the inside of that machine shop with my lathe where I have to attach the belts to that. And I'm
Yeah,
gonna have to, go ahead.
got a lot of work there.
Yeah. I think I might just leave the roof on it and forget it.
That's what I would have done.
We still have that option.
Yep.
That shop I built there is board on board, plus the battens are board on board. And actually, I had those all done for that whole shop in a week.
Huh.
And the other thing is, now that it's spring, my wife wants to go out and rake the yard. Well, she's like upset because I'm working on these models, but I really enjoy the modeling. I want to plant corn in our yard so I don't have to mow.
All right, this looks like the last one.
All right, that's just before I added some boards across the top of that, and that all three of these roofs that I did are removable.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense because you got a lot of details, and if you want to show it off, you need to pull that roof off to be able to.
I did want to say one more thing. Since you don't see a sign on this, so there's no name on this. So this is actually No Names Engine Shop. Of course, that's because of my email address, but the property is now owned by the Slacker brothers, and they're sitting on that upper portico playing checkers. I'm a slacker and just a slacker. And they're playing checkers and they're not doing the work. Come on, fellas, we got work to do.
All righty. All right. Well, thanks for sharing, Rich. This is some incredible work you've got going on there.
I gotta finish. I gotta do some scenery around this as well. So if I get all that done, I may show this again completed.
Yeah. Are there any questions for Rich?
Yeah, you're gonna light it, Rich?
Oh.
That's a feat in itself.
I know. Use
perhaps.
LEDs.
Well, if I do, I'm gonna have to put some cross members at 90 degrees to those trusses so I can hide the wiring above so you don't see it below.
You could run some steel rod across there, a small diameter, and just solder to it and then add it to the wiring going down a tube or something. Just an idea.
Get any more on this and I'll be down the tube.
All right.
That building's 48 scale feet across, so that's like 6 1/4 inches, and it's 8 inches the other way.
Yeah, it's pretty decent size.
And that little building, the machine shop, is 3 by 3 1/4.
Cool.
I don't know how people can do N scale or the smaller scales. I mean, HO is bad enough for me.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Thank you for the opportunity for showing these.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing, Rich. Any more questions for Rich before we move on? All right. So I'm gonna pull this out of. I'll try to anyway.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. Now we'll move on to Bob Farquhar. You up, Bob?
Yes, sir.
All right.
It's going to be an HO scale build. This is a kit from Interaction, based in British Columbia. Once it gets there, I'll tell you about it. There you go. So there's a detail kit with this thing as well. Where the doghouse is on the left-hand side, they have a magnet on the bottom of that. In the grass, there's a reed switch hidden there. When you put that doghouse over the reed switch, then the lights come on inside the trailer. And inside the trailer, it's all fully detailed. There's a TV and so on, kitchen. I made a cast iron fry pan with 2 eggs and 2 pieces of bacon in it. And I'd never thought about doing toaster until somebody mentioned it later on. Anyway, where I can't see it very well because the blurry, but the far corner of this, there's a sandbox there with the kids in it. And that's where the 9-volt battery is feeding that the LEDs inside the trailer. That roof has been glued down properly since this picture, because you see a little gap there between the side and the roof, especially in the middle part there. But yeah, a lot of fun doing this one. A lot of good details with that kit.
Yeah, that's what I hate is you put something together and then you start taking pictures of it and you realize, oh crap, there's a
Yeah,
gap.
yeah, and you find all your mistakes or whatever.
Yeah. I did see at one point a forum that talked about if you want to find your mistakes, take pictures of what you're trying to show off, and then don't release any of them. Just take and go through and
Yeah.
with a fine tooth comb and find all your mistakes, then fix them, then take your pictures.
And they
that
do
you
too.
want.
You're like, oh man, you can look at this 10 times and never see that gap, but once you take a picture of it, there it is.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
I think we've got one more for you.
Oh, that's a better picture of it anyway.
Yep.
And I bet by the doghouse, there's a little piece of dog turds in there, and I have a guy inside the bathroom having a whiz.
A lot of detail in a little spot.
Yeah,
Just-
yeah,
Just add another spare tire on that open area.
yeah.
Yeah, you didn't need to glue the roof down. You just need to put more tires on it.
Okay.
Nice job.
All right. Any questions for Bob on this? All right. Well, thanks, Bob. Appreciate it. Lots of detail in a very tiny space on this one.
Bob, let me ask you this, but where did you get all the detail that you put in there? Did that come from Interaction too?
Yes, most of them are there's a detail kit. You have to pay a bit more for that. But the dog, for example, the doghouse, that's from something else, and the laundry is from something else. And then the lawnmower's from something else. But the picnic tables came with the kit, and the lawn chairs, barbecue.
Bond. For Sean, Jim's trust, where they.
Okay.
Yep.
All righty. Thanks again, Bob.
Okay.
All right. I did get an email. I don't know if Daryl Jacobs is going to make it in tonight, but Daryl, are you up?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. All right. Looks like you've got 5 slides on here, so we'll go ahead.
Okay.
I noticed when I was putting the slideshow together that you and Bob have, shall we say, opposite tastes when it comes to that kit.
I didn't realize you were gonna that Bob was gonna have
We'll
this
get to
here.
that.
But we'll show them what the other half of the trailer park looks like here in a minute.
Yeah.
So
Mine
these
is-
these are just, I was just doing some experimenting and starting to play a little bit more in organic shapes and 3Ds, three-dimensional design in Rhino. So as an exercise, always wanted to build a rocket ship ride. So there I built a rocket ship ride and designed it all in 3D. You can actually put a scale quarter into that slot and it will fit. There's actually a notch in the slot. So I haven't printed any 3D quarters, but I'm thinking about trying that in O scale.
That
was
came out
fun.
really cool. I was
Yeah.
going through these pictures and I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it turned out really nice. There's about 5 hours of, probably closer to 6 hours of design work in there and tweaking to get that. And it turned out pretty good. So yeah,
Yeah.
Next slide there.
All right.
And this one here was practice over Christmas. And what I did was I had a couple of crowns that needed to be put in and back and forth to the dentist office, sitting in the chair for hours on end. So I took a few pictures of the suite. My dentist was leaving, so I built this as a little present to him in HO scale. And it's all 3D printed with some bent wire for the lamps and hangers. And then with the chair I found, I don't know if you guys use EasyLine very much, but it's so flexible and so it hangs so well. So in the bottom there, you can see the cords coming down from the dental tools, hangs in there beautifully with a bit of CA. If you try to do that with wire or something else, you won't get much of a hang there. It'll kind of always go the wrong direction. So that was kind of fun on that end. And the stands in between are all 3D printed in one piece, including the soap and the sink. And if you design it right and hang it right when you're printing it, it all turns out and comes together. So next
Hope we
slide.
gave you a discount on that.
Yeah, he did actually. The second time the crown was warranted because he swore the zirconium one that I couldn't break it, but I managed to bust that in 3 months. So he replaced it with a gold crown. So I felt obligated to help him out.
Hmm.
So next slide. Yeah, and that's just another view of the same thing. I built a little diorama there for him, but this will be a little suite that's available, and you can put it in an office window or into a kit that has a large office window.
Cool.
What scale is that in?
That's an HO scale, so that's 1/87th.
Okay,
My eyes are 1/48th, but with an Optivisor, I can get down to HO. So
Alrighty.
yeah, and of course, Bob showed you what one side of the trailer park looks like, and I'm showing you what the back trailer looks like in the trailer park. So decided to have a little cook studio in the trailer and conversion, and so this is a kit that we put together and have been working at, and combination of laser cut bits and 3D printed bits, like that desk in front with the clutter on at the top of it's 3D printed, and then the sides and base are laser cut. I find doing that combination of the laser cut and the 3D printed, you can get some crisper designs and comes together a little bit nicer.
Mm.
And next slide. Yeah, so this shows you on the left side, this is again HO scale. The shelves with the contents on them are 3D printed, and then we have some printed decals that you cut out each decal and put it onto each bottle and each item. And then the shelf goes together. It's a laser cut polyback shelf system, and the shelves fit into that. So trying to do that any other way, trying to paint that, as a one 3D printed casting would be pretty difficult. So painting the individual shells and then putting them together, you can accumulate a lot more detail into it. On the right side, I don't really know what that is. I'm not an expert at cooking meth. I've kind of picked my cue from Breaking Bad, and that's about it. But I remember seeing an object like this in there, so I thought it looked pretty good as an evaporator. So that's all 3D printed as a one-piece system. So there you go. I don't know which sides. Bob shows the bright side, and I show the dark side. I think that worked out pretty good. So thanks a lot, Chris.
That was actually it, because I combined a couple of them on this one. So
Yeah, no, thanks a lot.
yeah, thanks, Daryl. Are there any questions for Daryl before we move on?
Daryl, you gonna do any of that in any other scale besides HO?
Yeah, this is all done in HO, S scale, and O scale as well. So
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah, it all
So,
came out.
if Tony's
came out
listening,
really neat.
it is an S scale. So
All right. Any more questions for Daryl? Well, thanks for sharing, Daryl. I personally really liked the little rocket ship ride there. That was really neat. All right. Next up, we have Jeff Jordan. You up, Jeff? All right. I take it he's not up, but he did send in pictures of I think this is an old is this a Suidam kit? Triangle Cafe. I think he was trying to show us I think he'd found this kit somewhere, and just in looking at it, he tried to polish it up and finish it off, because I think I'm guessing it was partially built, but he took and did what he could with it, and he got a nice interior out of it anyway.
Sure did.
Yep, and I'm pretty sure this is an HO scale kit. All right, and then now we'll move on to Gary Shergold. You up, Gary?
I'm here.
Ah, there you are. Okay.
Yep.
All right, looks like we've got 2 slides for you.
Okay. This is a City Classic Railroad Street Company house kit. And this was a plastic kit. And what I wanted to try to do was make it look like wood. I watched a video on how to do it, and I thought I would attempt it, which I did. Um, I'm hoping it looks like wood.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I would never have thought that that was plastic.
Yeah, it's all plastic. The porch roof and the shed roof at the back, those were leftover shingles from another kit I had done, and I ran out of material, so I couldn't do the upper roof. So later on, when the owners make a little more money, they'll get a set of shingles and put the shingle roof on. The upper roof is tar paper put on, and then everything was weathered. The weathering technique on the side of the building was done with, it's called stripe painting. You use a bunch of different colors and you go over with streaking, and you streak multiple colors on top of each other. And you end up getting that old fashioned weathered out wood look.
And Gary, that would be a great demo to schedule with Jim sometime. To
Yeah.
find an old piece of plastic kit and go through the steps that you do to do that.
Yeah, that's an awesome idea.
Yeah, I have, right now I'm working on a presentation. It's a scratch building presentation that I was going to talk to you guys about at the meeting, and see if you wanted to go ahead with not my build, but a
Build along.
build along with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, but this was my attempt, my first attempt. And I thought it turned out fairly well. You can see there are some raised boards on it. And I just basically wanted to put it out there and get, some of you other modelers' opinion on what you thought it was, how it turned out.
I'm
That's
amazed.
fantastic.
I think it looks fantastic. I would never have thought that was plastic.
Yeah, that's an all plastic kit. It's a time consuming process, but it is worth it.
So is there like when you layer the paints, do you start out with like a light color, then a dark color, and then move back to light, or how does that work?
No, you just, I picked out the colors I wanted to use on it. Like there's some browns, reds. There's a bit of grayish. There's no white in it whatsoever. The model itself, believe it or not, was white plastic.
Are the windows molded separately, or are they, is that all
No,
one? piece like a-
those are a solid molded piece. And
Yeah.
then the technique you use the same technique on every bit of the plastic. That's why it's so time consuming. Is it's basically taking a razor saw that one of those razor saws, and scraping. And then there's another technique for board lifting. You'll probably spend more time prepping the model than you actually do putting it together and painting it and then weathering it.
How'd you build the roof?
The roof is it was a plastic piece, and what I did was I put tar paper on the top of it.
Okay.
I didn't use their roofing material was just a piece of plastic with striped lines, and I didn't like that, so I went and I put actual black paper used as tar paper and put it on and then weathered it.
Okay.
The building itself isn't that big. It's 2¼ wide, 5 inches long, and 3¾ high.
Gary, what's the stone foundation made out of? Was that a sheet material?
That's all plastic. That's one side of the building. The
What, you
stonework,
carve Did you carve the stones then?
No, I painted it and then using my technique of 5 different colors and then blending
Uh,
to make it look like stone.
Okay.
Layering, right? Layering colors.
Yeah. The
Looks pretty
shed at
nice.
the back is the foundation on the back piece, which was obviously added later. That's just cast cement. But again, it comes plastic. The whole kit is plastic. Everything you see there, with the exception of the roofing material, is plastic.
So what you're saying is that whole side wall I'm looking at, the windows were molded in, and the whole side of that roof was just a solid piece of plastic, and you have made it look like stone for the foundation, wood for the sides, and painted the windows.
Yeah, the windows actually, yeah, the windows came separate.
Ah, okay.
Okay, they were like scribed to make it look like wood, painted and then installed.
I got it. Well, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it came out very, very nice.
And for a plastic kit, those kits couldn't cost much wherever you bought it, Gary. I mean, they had to be almost giveaways.
Yeah, the kit itself was at the price right here, $22.
Hmm.
Actually, I didn't pay $22 for it.
No, I didn't.
It came with a box of HO stuff that I purchased off a gentleman.
Yeah.
That appears to me like one of those HO City Classic kits. Is that similar?
It's a City Classic kit.
Okay.
All right. Cool. Great discussion on this one.
Thank you. Thanks, Chris.
Awesome job. This is, no way I would have thought that was plastic. Any more questions for Gary?
Hello,
Hello?
Gary, yes. Did you say, what was the tool you used to put the lines in the siding that make it look like boards?
Your razor saw.
Razors, okay,
You know that they come in different sizes and
right.
yeah, like I'm sure every modeler out there has one.
Okay,
And
thank you.
It's basically there's a certain way you hold the saw so the teeth gouge into the plastic, and it's a method that by drawing one direction only, and what it does, it gouges in, gives a grain to the wood, well, it gives a grain in the plastic, and then
How'd you get
the raised boards.
how'd you get the lines so even? They're straight across or not?
You don't have to worry about that. The lines aren't straight.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But you must have used some kind of guide or something.
It's all in the stroke of the brush.
Yeah, it's something that
Pretty even too, spaced.
yeah, like this isn't my technique. This is something I'd seen done by another modeler, and I just wanted to try it, and I did. You have to realize this is a plastic kit,
Right.
so the straight lines that you're seeing on there are already molded into the plastic.
Oh,
All you're
okay.
doing is adding grain to those boards between the
Okay.
lines.
Okay.
Okay, I didn't put those lines in there.
Oh.
No,
All right.
they're
Very good.
they're already in the kit or on the plastic siding. All I
Excellent
did was I did the
Mhm.
scribing of the planks.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay,
Yes. Excellent job.
Alrighty.
I know if I do another one, I would do more board lifting on it. It gives it a more realistic effect.
Hmm.
You can see on the side, just above the window in the little to the left, the one board that is raised. And on the bottom, there's a couple, yeah, this is the other side of the building. And what I would do next time is I would lift more boards. The back shed area, the add-on, you can see a few of those boards. I lifted a few more of them, and you can see them in the down near the bottom, little below the window, and off to the left corner. The boards have been lifted.
You know, some of these modelers that do the lifted boards also have told me that they use 1x wood and glue them on. But I'm thinking in HO scale, that's difficult to do. I think most of those modelers that do that is O scale. Am I wrong with that?
No, this building here is whole. I'm sorry, it's HO. But lifting the boards it's a technique in itself, and it's really simple. Like if you were to see it done, you'd be amazed.
Use a straight
It is,
razor.
you have to be very careful, but you can raise the plastic.
What do you use, a straight razor with it?
It's a straight razor. Yep.
Those things are so thin though, wouldn't they snap and break?
No, if you do the technique that is shown, it's really simple to do, but you have to be very careful. And then if you do chip it out, so what? You do get chip siding. You just weather that area and it'll look like a piece of wood's been chunked out.
I don't lift my boards on mine because I don't want to cut my fingers.
I know the feeling. Painfully know the feeling. Alrighty. Anyone else for Gary? Alrighty. Yep. And we're back to where we started. Okay, so that is it for my build for this month. So let me see if I can find the last
Hey,
slide
Chris,
on here. Whoop.
did you lose my slides?
Oh, Martin?
Yeah,
I don't recall seeing any. I'll have to go back and look.
oh well.
You could always show them yourself, Martin.
Yeah, you have them handy?
Give me a minute. Well, I can show some of them at least. Hold on a minute. Let's see.
Hmm.
Where'd it go? I just had it. Oh, there it is. I changed the icon. Let's see. Share screen.
You need to send those to Chris too, Martin, so that he's
Well,
got them.
I think I did about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but he doesn't have them, so you need to send them
Well,
again.
Let me see if I can find them in here.
Well-
Let's see.
It's on.
Oh, well, it's not going to let me do that. Let's try that again.
I don't see anything in here.
Well, you acknowledged it.
I did.
Yeah, you did. Oh, well, whatever. It's not letting me play with it properly tonight.
We're all getting old, Chris.
Anywho,
Here.
last month I showed you this car that I had completely rebuilt. It's not letting me go to the,
That's something.
oh, there it goes.
I'll be
So,
down.
yeah, so we'll start where I left off last month because I did the outside and I said the roof came off, but there's nothing on the inside. I foolishly put stuff on the inside. It only took me a month. So there, it looks pretty bland on the outside. There's the inside. So now it's a dining car. We've got plates and glasses and mugs and bottles and chairs and tables and a full kitchen. and a few people. Obviously, everybody else is out working, except the foreman. So, yeah. And my stove, all the pots and pans, implements, etc. And all the paneling on the walls, all the wainscoting, all the beams, everything, and the glazing were all added to. So quick and easy, but it took me a couple of weeks. The fun part of this was finding all those little pieces, all those pots and pans and the bottles and the coffee mugs. There's a rabbit hole that you can fall down into. It's called Etsy. It's kind of disturbing. Once you put in 1/48 miniatures, you can spend the rest of your life in front of your computer looking for stuff, because it goes on for page after page after page after page. And you have to stop and actually go look at some of these vendors and see what they've got. And there's some pretty amazing stuff in there. And some of it's fairly reasonably priced and very cheap and easy. I mean, coffee pots, there were $5 or $6 for all of them. And they're all 3D printed. But if you want some really high-end furniture, there's stuff on there that's several $100s per item. So, the stove only cost me, a few dollars. That's, there's 3 or 4 vendors worth of stuff here. So, but, they come in I haven't seen any 187th, but 148th, there's plenty of stuff. It's like
is it dollhouse size?
Well, it's 1/48. Apparently that's the smallest the dollhouse stuff goes into. If you want larger, they've got that even more. That's a bigger rabbit hole. That's all that is. It was a bit of an adventure. I'd never seen quite this stuff. The only thing I was missing, I couldn't find it, was O-scale knives, forks, and spoons. And I say that, and they just arrived tonight. They're stainless. It's etched or laser cut. I don't know which. Stainless steel. So I have to cut them out from the fretwork, paint them, and put them in here. And then this car will be done. And it comes with all kinds of butchery knives and all kinds of stuff.
Where'd you get the chef?
I don't know. I really don't know where he came from. Oh, wait a minute. Let's back up. I think that's an Artista figure.
Okay.
I think they're both. Well, I know the seated one is an Artista figure. Yeah, so I put a coffee cup in his hand and painted the inside black, so it looks like he's got a cup of coffee. Most of the stuff, that's either from, some of it's out of my parts box, some of it's from 2 or 3 different vendors off of Etsy. There's a couple of Berkshire Valley things in there, and there's some other odds and ends. And that brass pot holding the implements over on the barrel, I made that. That's just a piece of brass tubing with a piece of shim brass solder to the bottom. So it seemed like it would be more interesting if you could look through the windows and see something going on. So it seemed like a better way to finish this car off. It's the same problem with structures. You look in the windows from the front, and you look out the back. There's nothing in between. There should be walls. There should be people. There should be furniture. There should be something in there just to block the view. Put a fake wall in. In this case, I just put all this other stuff in here.
Maybe lights too.
Well, lights are always good. I'm not sure I'm going to put lights in this, but I could. Actually, I could. The Evans design stuff would work well in this. Actually, I could attach it and glue it to the roof for the interior, and just leave the battery in it, and you could just turn it on and off when you wanted to.